Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today's session. Today, we are very excited to show you what's new in TalentLMS. We had a major update, and that is the TalentLMS 4.6 update. It was released in March 2021, just a couple of days ago. And with this update, we want to make sure that the learners enjoy a more flexible and smooth learning experience. It's all about them. The training is about them, and the update should be focused on them as well. Let's get started and see what we have in store for you today. My name is Theo. I am part of the customer education team, and our goal is to help you get an overview of TalentLMS, explore its features, and today learn about everything that has been added or improved into the portal that you have in front of you. I'm not alone though. As always, I have great company with me.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mary. I'm the Customer Education Manager, and I will help Theo with his presentation and you to deliver successful training. You should know that the session is already being recorded, so you will all get a copy once it's over. And you also have a Q&A button somewhere here, so please use that and send your questions to me, and we will answer them live together.
So let's have a start and see what we have to talk about. We have lots of things, but this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we're going to present to you. We will be able to see how the learners will be able to have more power to the training with updates in courses and tests. We will be able to see how you can have better tracking of attendance when it comes to the blended learning and to the webinars, the instructor-led training sessions that you organize. Also, you'll see improvements that we have brought in discussions and in notifications. And of course, we have never left outside of this update our custom homepage. The custom homepage came to TalentLMS the last time we had an update, and this time we have an improvement where we can add a call to action button so you can customize it even more. And as promised, we will be able to have a lot of time for your questions. So feel free to use the Q&A section, as Mary said before, and we will be able to answer as much as possible in our live session a little bit later. So let's dive right into it. I have a portal here that we will be working on, and this view might be familiar to you already. That is the admin view. We will be able to start with a little bit of changes that we have into the courses. As an admin, I'll go into the courses here, and I'll pick up just the first one. Let's go to this, click on it, and have a look at the settings. What we want to focus on is the course expiration. You might see something different here. We have the time limit before, which was a time limit that you could set based on when the learner was starting a course. So that way you could give them the flexibility they need and let them know how much time you expect them to take the course within. For example, if you wanted them to finish that in, let's say, 7 days, a week, you could place that there. And from the time that the users were enrolled into the course, then they would have 7 days until the course would expire and they wouldn't have access to it anymore. That was very helpful because each user would have their own time limit, their own period of time that they were able to actually take the course within. But now we have a change. We have a universal expiration date for the course. So if we want this specific course to last until the end of March and be accessible to the users until the end of March, maybe we want to give them the full day. So I'm going to make it the end of March at midnight, like Cinderella. And here you will be able to have an expiration date that will apply to anybody that enrolls into the course. So now not only you can give them a time limit that they can actually take the course within, but you can give them a specific expiration date that will apply for everyone, regardless when somebody gets enrolled. I'll give you an example to see where this is useful. If you have compliance training and you know that you have a company audit that will take place in April, and until the end of March, you want everybody to be updated about, let's say, a specific course, security courses, anything that is important for that audit that is about to come. With the expiration dates, until the end of the month, you will be able to ensure that everybody who takes the course will have completed it, hopefully, and you will be able to have them all updated until the actual deadline comes and the next step needs to be taken. Of course, you can update the course. And with that said, I'm just going to go to course contents and leave the floor to Mary to be an instructor in the course and tell us what else is new with this update.
We have changed something, guys, in the test as well. You know that a pass or fail score might be a good indicator whether the learners have grasped new knowledge, but the training should not end there. So let's edit one of our tests, and I would like to show you what we have changed in the test options. So before, if the learner failed the test, he had the option to retake it. So he can try again and again until he succeed and successfully pass the test to go to the next unit. Now we have changed this, and you also have the option to always allow them to repeat the test. This way they can retake the test, they can reinforce knowledge, they just need to repeat it again and again. So they can repeat the same things and of course improve their score. Just a note here, if they successfully pass the first time and then they try to take again the test just to repeat again the knowledge, the points on gamification will not change. You know, gamification where we can give extra points to users on the leaderboard if they achieve a specific score in the test. So we will not multiply this again with the test score. And also, if you have a notification on course completion, don't worry, we will not spam your users. The first time they completed the course, they will get this notification. We allow them to retake the test, but this will not trigger all the notifications. And also, let's go a little bit back to show you what we have changed on the rules and path of the course. Well, you know that before we were able to select how we will calculate the average score, and you can just use a default rule, all the tests and assignments, or you could change that to specific tests. We can click on that, or specific tests and assignments, you can choose. What we have added on this release is the option to add weights to tests and assignments. All you have to do is to pick a test and assignment. We need just 2, I will pick 3, so I can give you a nice example. And then you can add unit weights. You know, all the tests are very important and assignments are very important, but they're not made equally. Maybe you need to focus on the importance of a test. So for example, here, my first test should be weighted as 1. I will explain you how this works. The second quiz should be weighted as 2. And then the third assignment as 1 again. Let's leave it like this. So the total weight is 4. And I couldn't believe I would do math with you. Let's go and I will give you an example how we can calculate this, how this works exactly. So it's important to get the score of each test and assignment and multiply this with the score. For example, this is the equation. Let's try to take a real life example. If the learner scores on the first test 90%, we will multiply this with the weight 1. The second test has been multiplied with the weight 2 because it's more important. I want to focus there more. And then it was an assignment. He scored 100%. Again, I multiply this with 1 and I divide the sum with 4, which is the total weight. And that's how we get the new average score of that course.
Well, that feels like we are really back to school, but it's really important for courses, as Mary said, that have different levels of difficulty or different levels of importance based on where you want to evaluate users more or what you want to make a little bit more difficult for them in order to get more attention and more grades if that is successfully done. Let's leave the math and let's go back into the portal. I'm going to click again onto the course, and now we're going to talk about webinars. It's all about blended learning. Blended learning is the best way to be able to engage with your users, provide them a training that will be full of different ways of getting the content to them, and a more direct way, even remotely, to engage with the users. What we have brought here is Iot Sessions, webinars, or classroom events that have taken place in the past, and you still can create them in TalentLMS to reflect the actual time that the users were there. I know it sounds like time traveling, so let me explain. Let's take this example. That is a course about ways to engage with remote teams. Everybody's working remote now, we know the drill. And let's say that this is a course that is aimed for new hires. And the first part of the course is a webinar, an online session that the instructor will introduce themselves to the users and set up the plan for the training and just get to know what they will have to deal with. However, if we had the onboarding last week, maybe that specific meeting happened during the onboarding, or maybe the users have met the instructor on another common meeting that they had with them as well. What you want is to still reflect the meeting that took place last week in a course that you just created today. And the purpose of it is to have accurate reports. In TalentLMS, you can have reports about the complete time that people have spent into the course or into the specific session. So why not include something that has already taken place? The users were there, the meeting happened, why not say it here? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have an instructor-led training unit, or you can just add one right away there. So having one already, I'm just gonna go to edit, and let's create together the event that took place last week. Just click on that session. There's no point of clicking on a date because it happened, right? So what we want to call this is, let's say, intro meeting. And last week, perhaps that happened on the 8th, Monday, the 8th of March. Start time, it was about 10, so let's pick that. And of course, the instructor can be myself or can be anybody who is part of the course already. But let's keep it simple. I'm just going to keep it to myself. And the type of event, it can be classroom, which means that the people were physically in the office and they had the meeting there. Or these days, it was a webinar. So that was another meeting that spontaneously the instructor popped in, said hello, and we want to reflect it here as well. You see, I cannot click on create a new webinar. And that's right, because we don't need a link. The meeting happened, so the link would be completely not usable in this time. So skip that and just go directly into the duration to reflect exactly the amount of time that the meeting took place when it happened last week. This is very important for the reports. We want to have accurate reports. That's why we're doing that. So the duration is one of the key elements that will make this reflect exactly what happened last week. So let's add the session here. And immediately you see that this is grayed out and it's actually part of a day that we cannot click. The learners will not be able to interact with this meeting. And again, that's reasonable. They were there last week. They don't need to do anything with it here. This is all about the instructor just to manually register the user so that way the reports are right. So let's save and view and see what we got. This is the event that we just created. So correct dates, correct time in the past. And at this point, we need to register the users that took part in the meeting. Click on registered users, and provided that you have already just added all of the users that were there into the course as well. You can add them one by one into the session if you want, but what you can also do is hover next to the user and click to mass select everybody that was in that meeting. If John was not there, you can just remove them, but let's keep everybody in. Go to the mass actions button and add the people into the session. Confirm that this is exactly what you want to do. And just like that, if I go into the session users here, you will be able to see all of the people that actually took place in that meeting last week reflected over here as well. So what do you do next? Of course, you can give them feedback. You can just click on the individual if you want and grade them based on their attendance, or you can do that massively for all of the users so you can provide them feedback at the same time. You might wonder though, except from the past event, what else is new here? Do you see the little arrow there? If you click on that, you see the option now with this update to message all of the users that took part into this specific course, and especially into this specific meeting. Let's click on the message users, and you will be able to see that you can write to them a message. You can add a subject line, you can add content in the body, you can format it, add links, images, even attach a file, and then send a message. That message will be sent to all of those folks, and it will be visible here when they log in, and as well a copy will be sent into their email, so that way they will be able to see that as an incoming email from you into their mailbox. Now, away from that, let's see what else is new. We have lots of updates in relation to instructor-led training units, and one of those is if we go back and Still, being into the course as instructors, we have a look at the reports. Remember, the instructors can see reports about the progress of the users that already are part of the course that we are talking about. So I'm clicking on the reports and you see the rest of them that you already have seen before. And you also have the Ielts here. If I click, that is a dedicated set of reports directly for the instructor-led training units that you have into that specific course. Let's take a look at the same thing from a different standpoint. I'm going to change and switch to admin. The admin is the king of the reports or the queen of the reports, and they are able to see reports about all of the users that belong into the account. So let's click on the Iot reports here, but again, from a different standpoints, being admins. Let's find this one, a webinar about device security and safety. I'm just gonna click on the options. You can very quickly see stats here, but let's go into detail. And this is an overview of all of the people that have been part into this specific instructor-led training unit. Some didn't pass, some passed, and some still are pending to receive their feedback. If you want to reset the progress of somebody in this specific instructor-led training unit, for example, if you want to reset this for Aaron and have him join a different one and give them a chance to take the same content into a different meeting, you can do it right away from here. And you can see a graph. You can always go to the sessions and you can see independent sessions that you have into the instructor-led training units and see the information about those as well. And in the timeline, you can see all of the actions that have been taken in relation to this specific instructor-led training unit. Of course, if we go back into the overview, you can download and export this in Excel. And like with every report in TalentLMS, you can click and you can schedule and you can send this to your own email or to people that need to get the report at a specific amount of days, months, and you know the drill. You can really automate the way that the report will get to you or to the people that need to monitor this specific report. Let's go back to the homepage and let's have a look at the events engine. You guess it right, we have changes into the notifications for the Iot units as well. What we want is to pick the webinar reminder one. I'm going to click here and you have already seen that I have created a notification, but you can always create one by typing a name, selecting the event, the recipients, and the content. This specific one is a reminder that there is an upcoming instructor-led training unit to happen. Actually, a session of a unit to happen, or more than one. Let me just explain. If you select number of hours before an instructor-led session starts, select the recipient to be the related user, which is the members that have been registered into this specific session. Define the hours, for example, 1 hour, and that will be exactly the last reminder that you can send from TalentLMS to the participants of the webinar. And then just type your body. This will be the subject line of the email, and the rest will be the contents exactly as you wanted. Don't forget, you can use the smart text at the bottom, so that way you can populate relevant information for the users and the courses. So this reminder will be sent to the users before any session that they have. Any session that they haven't is just 1 hour before that session will start. The new thing about it is that if you have a webinar, an instructor-led training units that consists of more than one sessions, for example, linked sessions, then this notification with this update will be sent for as many times as the sessions are. You have 2 sessions, 1 hour before each of those, the notification will be sent out. And when you're ready with it, just updates and it will start working right away. So there was a lot of information about the instructor-led training sessions, but I really hope that you enjoy the changes. And let's have a look. Mary, what is your favorite change? Was it perhaps about notifications again? Just taking a guess.
Actually, yes, the next one I'm going to show you. Let's add a notification. And guys, do you want to make sure your learners will never miss a deadline? Maybe one notification is not enough. So what we have changed here is that you can send recurring notifications. Let's add a notification. And let's use the event X hours after course acquisition. We want to send a message only to people that are still in progress, not the learners that have completed the training. So let's select the recipient. We want the related user, the person who is assigned to the course, to get this message. And then let's define when is the first time that we will send this notification out. I will give them 10 days. I'm generous. We need to calculate this in hours, so 240 hours. So if a learner is still in progress after 10 days, the system will know and it will send this notification. Again, the first line is your subject, then you type your body text. And what we have changed now is that you can set it to be a recurring notification. Click on that and you can select if you want this notification to be repeated like every 3 days and when it's going to end. I'm going to say after 10 times. So for a month, people will get notifications, again, only if they are still in progress. The system will know if a learner has completed the course and it will not send another notification again. I think this is pretty cool. Before you had to create many different notifications on the same event. Now you just need one and you set it as a recurring notification. But let's stick to the administrator role and let's go now to account the settings and homepage. You know that in our latest release, we have just revived all the homepage, and now you're working with different sections to customize what the learner will see. What we have changed to on this release is that we can add call to action buttons. We heard you. You had so many good ideas, and I really like this feature as well. You can see this button. I can click on that, and people will be directed to another site. This is pretty cool, a CTA button, which you can add on text and media or even on banners section. So for example, we can edit this section and let's do this together. Click to create a call to action button and then add the text, what's going to be on the button. I'm going to encourage everybody to register to our next webinar. I'm going to paste now the URL and I'm going to place it somewhere to the bottom left. So it's going to appear under the live webinars big text I have there. And here it is. Again, people will click on that. They will be directed to what I have connected here. This is a contact form, so they can register to our next webinar. And yeah, that's it.
That's really cool, right? I mean, you see for yourself, you don't need to be a developer to do that. Mary, are you on? No.
Definitely no.
Me neither. So it's really easy to create something that is unique and people can interact with your page. And remember, the home page is the start of everything. This is the first thing that people see when they are invited to join your account. So you can make it as unique and as matching with your branding as exactly you want it to be. Let's leave the homepage. And you heard me mention in the beginning that this update is all about the learners. And this update is yearly toward exactly the people that are taking your training. So let's become one. I'm just going to switch to the learner here. And what we want to talk about is discussions. Discussions are really great. They're a great way for the learners to participate in a forum-like set of conversations that they can use for asking the instructor questions or connecting with fellow learners. And generally, the discussions are a great place where people can spend much more time into your account. And with discussions usually comes more training. People engage with each other, they encourage each other to take more training. And of course, the instructors will be moderating everything that you can see in a discussion. So what's new? Well, on the top right, there's a new button. The learners can click on that and they can change the order of the discussions. Maybe that's based on the creation date, but let's say the most active one. And you can see this one, or you can always just go to, again, the name of the discussion and lots of different options that we always welcome you to explore. Let's see what else has changed. So if we click on, well, just gonna find this one, good marketing tools for Instagram. And you see here that we have lots of people participating. It's a really good idea to get notified about the discussions, about the content that people are adding into the discussions. And that is actually one of the most frequently suggested improvements that we could do. And we hear you, it's here. The users can go on the top right, click on subscribe, and they will be able to receive an email notification about any new action, any new updates that this discussion has. For example, if I add a comment here, people that have subscribed will be able to receive a notification telling them that there is a new comment, and they will be able to go and check. If you don't want to get notifications anymore, you can just unsubscribe and the emails will stop. So that is really good because people can block out the noise and they can only focus on the topics that are really important to them. And most importantly, they can focus on what matters, and they can always withdraw when that doesn't become relevant or that is not something that they're into anymore. Let's go back to the homepage, and I'm going to switch again to the admin role because I think this is where everything starts. And I'm looking at the Q&A as we speak, and there's a lot of questions, mostly about the admin and the instructor role. So I'm just going to stop talking, leave the floor to Mary, and of course, I'll be able to help if anything comes into me as well.
Thanks, Theo, and thank you guys for sending your questions. And let's start. I have a question from Azikin. If the user is in different time zone as the default time zone, which time zone will be followed on the expiration date and time? It will, the system will understand the time zone of the learner as the king. So I am right now located in Greece, maybe you are in US, and I have selected the time zone, the course to expire at 10 a.m. my time, using the default time that I have set. The learner will see, will be able to access the course until his time. It really depends on the location of the user. We have adjusted, and that's why we have the option to select the time. It's like the live events. People can see that on their time zone if they have selected something different from their own profile. And a question, I don't have your name, sorry, you'll show up as anonymous in your reports. So you must be referring on test repetitions. In your reports, will you show the latest results or the highest results? We will show the highest. So yes, if you allow the learner to repeat again and again the test, and the first time he gets 85%, but the second time he gets 100%, we will show the highest score in the reports. A question from Tony. Is there an option for assigning specific points for just one course? Tony, yes, but follow me because we have to follow some small steps. Just to remind you, everybody, in account settings, gamification, if we click on that, you can see the rules when we give points to the learners. Right now on my side, I say that every time someone completes a course, he gets just 10 points. So this is the global rule for all the courses. If I want to give more points for a specific course, let's go back and under Event Engine, click to create an automation. There is an automation that allows us to give some extra points for a specific course. So for example, this automation on course X completion, I want to give 10 more points. 100. Okay, 100, as Theo said. So let's do again some math. 10 points from the global rule, and now 100 points from this extra rule. This specific course only will give 110 points to our learners. You see that? So it's a combination of features, actually. So we have a question from Michael. There was a level setting in your course settings. How can I set a level for a course? Michael, are you referring here when we open the course, moving all the way down this one, the level? If this is what you're looking for, the level that you see here, it's connected with your gamification points and badges that you get again. If we go back once more, just to show you the rules, I think it's easier this way. We go back to gamification, and here you see the levels, when the learner will upgrade into a higher level, when he gets enough points, when he receives enough badges, when he completes courses. All of these are rules to upgrade into a higher level. If they reach the third level, for example, they can unlock the course we have edited before. I hope this helps. That's one way to set somehow, let's say, prerequisites based on the actions that the learners are doing in the system. The other way is to just set up a learning path, which is inside the course. I hope this helps. Christina, a question from you. Will the end user see the expiration date? Can you send automated reminders to complete by said date? Christina, yes, the learner will see on his dashboard when the course will expire. And someone else asked this as well. When the course expires, it doesn't get removed from the catalog. It's not hidden from the dashboard of the learner as well. It's still going to stay on the dashboard of the learner with the expire tag. This means that the learner cannot access it anymore. He cannot try to complete it because he didn't do that until the expiration date. But yes, you can send reminders. And Theo, if you can help me, as you understand, he controls the screen. Let's add a notification and let's use the X hours before course expiration. We can use that. I think this is a nice reminder. Again, you select the related user, who is the person assigned to the course, and then you decide when you would like to send the message. X hours before it expires. So we can give them just a heads up, you know, the course is going to expire, so hurry up. Hope this helps, Christina. A question from Gabri. My company uses Microsoft Teams for all of our virtual meetings and trainings. Is there any way to connect this program with TalentLMS? Not yet, but in summer, we're trying our best. We'll have Microsoft Teams on the list with the rest of the tools. We have a workaround though. Theo, if you can help me, let's enter to the course. And let's create from the beginning a new session. Let's edit just a meeting. I want to do this quickly to show to Cambry what he can do. Let's edit. And let's pick from the calendar. So this is Cambry, what you have to do. Let's pick on the calendar when you would like to have a session. You pick the date, you pick the time. Then you just need to select webinar and do not click create a new webinar. Don't do this, don't click this. So the learners will be able to go to the URL that you will add in the description. So add in the description the Microsoft Teams URL that you have already created, and people will have to copy paste that. If you want, we had developed an HTML code. It's a small trick where we can make this link a hyperlink. So it's easier for the learners to just click and they will be directed to Microsoft Teams. It's not integrated though. So the only difference is that you have to go first to Microsoft Teams, create the session, copy the URL, and then paste it in here. That's the difference for now, but you will all be notified when Microsoft Teams will become available and we will have another webinar like this one. So a question from Cherry. Can you add a group to a course rather than clicking each user individually in the group to add to the course? Yes, Cherry. Actually, this is a question from Crystal that I got earlier with an email, and I promised that I will answer this live. And let's see how you can add users to courses in Maths. There are many ways. You are all in Plus and Premium plans. One way is to use custom reports, actually. Yes, with custom reports, you can run a report and say, for example, let's add a new one. Give me a list of all the people that have this course. Anything, you just use the rules. You use the filters, you use rules to see who is going to be on the list, and then you can make a mass action. This is where I want to get to. So I want a list of all the people that already have this course. Right now, I'm not interested very much on what is going to be on the columns. Let's save the report. The whole point is to go to the right side of the screen to use the mass action and now add all these users to a course. Or if you want, you can add them to a group and they will get automatically all the course to the group. I think this is the easiest way, fastest way. Otherwise, you can use groups. And let me show you this as well. You can go to groups. Let's click on one group and click on courses. You add courses to the group. You have to add some courses to the group. And then we go back to the users tab and we add all the learners that we want. Some people may already have these courses. It doesn't matter how. Some maybe they don't have anything. So what we want to do is to use the mass action and add the users to the course of the group. So this is the second way. It's a little bit more manual because you select the users, while with custom reports, you have selected rules and we generated a list of users. That's the difference. But at the end, they will all get courses. Hope it helps. And is there actually a way to attach the recorded ILT session to a unit? Sorry, I don't see a name. It's an anonymous question. Unfortunately, no. All the sessions that you're creating, you are using a different tool. So when you're recording the session, it cannot be saved automatically in TalentLMS. And actually, it's not a restriction from our side. I know Zoom very well now. Every time I record a session, I can choose to record it on my computer or on Zoom Cloud. I don't have an option to store it somewhere else. So you have to record the session and then use the video that you get and just drag and drop it in your course. So this way you can create a unit, just drag and drop it inside your course and save the recording in TalentLMS. So anyone that missed that can watch it from here. Hope it helps. Can we auto-assign a message to new users to receive automatically upon API connection? A question from Ryan. So Ryan, you're using API to create users, right? Yes, on user creation, this is the notifications that you have to use. Let's go back to Events Engine and use the notification on user creation. We want to notify the related users that they have a new account created. So when we manually add the users, and API is one of these ways manually from the admin, they will get this notification. So yes, you can use this notification, Ryan. And let's see. Yes, everybody, sorry, I get this question a lot. The session is being recorded, so you will all get a copy, definitely. Let's see. A question from Samuel. We have never used Instructor training before. Currently, we do all inductions via Teams. Is it possible to embed multiple user-led training into one course? Yes, Samuel, it's just a unit. So you can have as many units as you want. In general, there's no limit how many units you can have in a course. And it doesn't matter if this is a video or a presentation, you can add multiple ILT units. There's no problem with that. And you also have an example. An HR employee leads the training at the start at 9 a.m. Then the user completes some training and then another instructor training starts with the IT person, let's say at 11. Definitely, Samuel. Yes, you can start with a live session. People will join that. Then you go back to the course. They just watch some videos. They take some tests. And then there's another live session they have to join to. Definitely, there's not going to be any problem. Let's see. A question from Anisha. Can you create custom notifications for new users to specific branches so the emails can include a link to that branch? Anisha, actually, let's go to the notification. Let's use the notification on user creation. And I will show you that on the text, you can add the site URL, right? One of the smart tags you see there is the site URL. Now, if I log into the main site, the global site, and I create the users, the site URL there will show the main site, the URL I'm logged in. So you don't really need to create different notifications for your branches. You just need to make this action while you are logged in to that branch URL. So I have to be in that branch when I add a user to a course to make sure that the site URL will be the branch URL. So the learners will not be confused. Another question from Ryan. Are the webinars through TalentLMS or can you adapt it to Zoom? Actually, Ryan, all the meetings that you schedule from here will be on a different tool, never in TalentLMS. So it's actually your Zoom tool. And yeah, you make the adaptations there. It's your tool. We just make the connections so people will have to log into TalentLMS because they're your learners and they have to log in here to click on the join button and then be transferred to the live session. So it's always your tool, yes. A question from Marlies. Hi, any chance this kind of call to action buttons can also become available in a section of the course, the content of the course? Actually, Marlies, I think we can do this, yes, but with an HTML code. Marlies, if you can send us a question, we will show at the end where you can send your questions. Probably, yes, we can do this, but we need some knowledge of HTML. We can have an image and click on that image. But yeah, probably yes. Can discussions be shared between branches? This is a question from Christina. No, Christina, that's a very good question. We get lots of questions around discussions. Again, it's very important to log into the correct site when you create a discussion. If I log into the main site, to the global site, only people that can log into the main site can see discussions. If I log into a branch URL, people can only see the discussions that I've created within the branch URL. So it's important that I create the discussion from a specific branch. But I cannot have a discussion that was created in branch A to be visible also to branch B. The learner must be in both branches, you see? If I only have access to branch A, I can never see what's going on in branch B. I know I'm moving my hands a lot, but I hope this helps. A question from Dave. Can I add a course from the Talent Library into a course that I'm building, maybe as a lesson? Dave, thank you for this question. I don't know if you guys know this, TalentLMS has this new project we call Talent Library. We're creating our own content and it's all about soft skills, so it's perfect for your employees. If you want to have access to Talent Library, you will need to upgrade your plan to a subscription that supports it. Once you have access to that, you will be able to take these courses and add them to your course catalog. You will have unlimited access, so you can give it to all the learners that you want. Dave's question is that he's asking if we can take the course from the Talent Library into one of his courses. Actually, Dave, you have to do this the other way around. You have to update the Talent Library course. That's because we are using SCORM files, SCORM 1.2 version, and they cannot be cloned and be taken to another course. You see what I mean? So use the existing course, the Talent Library course, and update it. Add more units, add more live sessions if you want to. You can still update and add your own content, but you cannot take the content we have and put it in another course.
And just a little bit of extra information if you want. We had a webinar a couple of weeks ago in relation to all about Talent Library. So if that's okay with you, I can just put the link of the recording of that webinar as well into your email where you will receive this session's recording. So with one email, you can get two sessions, one about Talent Library and one about what we're talking today, all the latest updates.
Thanks, Theo. Definitely. Yes, guys, we have lots of content, lots of articles. If you have questions, just let us know. Then next, a question from Jenny. Can you set up course reminders for specific courses only? Or does it default to send reminders for all courses? Jenny, yes, this is possible. We go again back to Event Engine and we use my favorite notification X hours after course acquisition. So you see now next to the event filter, you can make it specific to a course. By default, yes, it will send a message for any course the learner has a few hours later, according to the settings of this notification. But right now, we are selecting that this notification should be sent only for the specific course. So we won't spam our users for other trainings. We can focus to what is most important here. And to answer also Kathy's question, the notification I just showed you on core X hours after course acquisition will be sent only to people that are still in progress, not people that have completed the training. So yes, Kathy, you can email learners that are still in progress. A question from Mason. Is there a way to see who attended a webinar ILT? Is that recorded automatically in TalentLMS? Mason, that's a good question. No, we cannot record who really participate and stayed there the entire time. We know from beforehand who is planning to participate. And that's what you can access in the ILT reports right now. In the Ielts reports, you can see who registered and their status still set as pending, because you need to confirm who passed or failed, who really attended the session. Actually, there are so many criteria that you can say that a user has passed or failed a live session. So it's up to the instructor to decide whether we can say that the learner has passed. Because most of the times this does not translate just to has he attended. Maybe he needs to really participate, to be active with other learners. So it's up to you to decide whether the learner has passed or failed. I guess if you mark him as passed, it's like you have a record who really joined the session. So you can show this to other managers if you need to. So another question from Jamie. For the notifications, could you send an email based off when a course will expire? I would like this email to only go to users that have not finished the course. Yes, Jamie. Yes, guys, from Event Engine, you can add notifications. We showed you before how you can use the X hours after course acquisition. Jamie, what you need, since we want the course, we want notification based on when a course will expire, is the X hours before course expiration. Because your course has a deadline, and we want to send a message before this happens. And only learners that have not finished the course will get this notification. So Jamie Ray, yes, this is the combination you have to follow. Also a question from Austin. Can we have a custom field on user profile that only admin or instructor can modify the field? Yes and no. Let me explain what I mean. So guys, from account settings, there is an option to add extra fields on user profiles. Because up until now, you just know the first name, last name, and email address, but maybe you need to add more information, like the date of hire, like the manager name, like the location, and many more things that happen in our job every day. So Mohsen is asking if we can have this field being updated just by the admin. We cannot allow an instructor to edit this field anyway, Mohsen, because instructors cannot access the user profile. So instructors can never change that. But admins can change this, and right now also the learners alone. With an extra coding that we can ask our support team about this, with an extra coding that you can apply to your themes, we could prevent the learners to edit this extra field. So please send a message to our support team. If I'm not mistaken, I have seen this question before, and the solution was that the learners cannot update this specific field only with a custom coding. Otherwise, if you want to generally not allow learners to update their profiles, you can go to their user types. So this is more generic. The solution I will show you, we can go to the learner type and remove the permission to update his profile in general, not just the custom user field. They cannot change in general their profile. Let's see. And I see questions. Thank you. Thank you. Christina, is there a way to set up a library that is accessible to all branches? Christina, yes, it's all about our settings actually. Again, you have this global site. Think of this like the control panel of everything. You create all the courses here and then you start sharing them with different branches. So if you share the same courses to all of the branches, then all the branches have the same exactly course catalog. So it's up to us. And a fast way to do this is to perhaps go to courses and then select all the courses that you want. And then through the mass action, add them to a specific branch. So we can select now branches. You can add more branches if you want to. And we can add all the courses to many different branches. This is one way. Another way could be with the import. Just to remind you, TalentLMS supports importing data with an Excel file. You might also want to click on the cheat sheet to see how to add users and courses to branches. And you can also organize everything on an Excel file and then drop it here so we can add many different courses to many different branches if you want to. Let's see. Will the users be able to re-register into the course once it expires? A question from, I don't have a name, sorry. The users cannot re-register alone to a course that has expired because it actually stays on their profile. They're not removed from the course. It's still on their profile with just the expired tag. So we have to remove them, and then they will be able to select it alone. We haven't removed them this way with expiration. Let's say, question. Okay, George sent us some feedback. We've used that team streak. It works great. Very good, George. A question from Ron. Hi, we want our learners to become instructors after they finish a certain number of courses. Is there an automated way to promote learners to instructors so they can lead certain courses? I'm afraid no, and you have to be careful. Usually learners are just learners. Instructors are just instructors, and they have the permission to edit courses. If I complete a course as a learner, we can keep this information report. TalentLMS can capture this, and you can see the data of that learner. But when an instructor completes a course, it's mostly for testing purposes, and that's why we don't capture the information. So Ron, there's not an automated way to promote learners to instructors. And if you do this also manually, you also have to be careful. You have to make sure you add them all to specific courses as instructors. Let's see. A question from Madasir. I have 1,000 plus users in my platform. Can I add all of them in a course without uploading a list? Madasir, yes. If your users are already in the platform, one way is to go to the users and just select multiple users. And then you will have again the mass action to add them all to a group that will have many courses if you want to. Or we could use again custom reports. I think this would be better. With custom reports, you can run a report and say, for example, give me a list of all the learners that are active. Probably we need to focus there. And then again, through the mass actions, if we can just click to open a report, it doesn't matter now. Through the mass action, you can add all the results, 1,000 plus users, to a specific course or to a group of courses if you use a group. So let's see. A question from Anzi. What is the purpose and benefit of the group owner faction? I cannot find documentation about this. Good question, Angie. If you can help me, let's go to one of our groups and let's open that and go to the users tab. You will see that the first person, the person that created the group actually is also the owner. If you have more administrators or instructors, like the second user, if we hover the mouse under the options, you see this thumbs up to make this the group owner. You can switch the group owner. This will be useful for filtering. Filtering, when we see this down, we cannot see this here right now. Let's go to users. Let me show you. On users, down, you see this little icon. You can filter people. I know this is such a small detail, but it makes a lot of difference. And you can see the courses that you're a member of, the groups that you're a member of, and you're an account on right now. We have recently received a suggestion to improve this feature, so anyone that is assigned to a group can see that on a list. But right now, it helps here when you filter users or courses for a specific course or group. But yeah, we're planning to allow more people that are members of the group to see this option there. Can you automatically add new users to a group based on their job role? This is a question from Patrick. Again, yes and no. I have to know more about your side. Do you use branches to separate the departments? if you're nodding your face, your head, let's go to branches. And we can create default groups. We can, if you have this department just for the marketing team, let's say, let's edit that. There is an option to add a default group. So the group will have the courses for the marketing team. You set it as the default group, and every time you add a user, a new user to the branch, which was created for departments, you will be able to automatically add him to the course of that group. This is the automated way. There are many more options, so you can make mass actions, again, through custom reports, through the import. But these are ways to make this manually. The only automated way right now, if you're using different branches for separating your departments, is to have a default group. Another question from Angie. Regarding course expiration, if using the number of days option, does the course expire at midnight or a specific time of the day? It really depends when the learner got the course, Angie, actually. And again, it's not absolute what I'm gonna say. Maybe I take this course around 6 p.m. and we're using the duration, the time limit, and it's gonna expire in 3 days. It's gonna expire approximately the time I was assigned to the course. Again, it's not very specific. That's why we have added the second option now, and you can choose a specific date and time.
These are really great questions. I mean, it's a good opportunity to not only discuss what's new, but also, just questions that were in related to existing features and how these have been improved as well. Mary, do you think that you can do one more? Or should I do one more?
Yes, please. Can you?
Okay.
I have a question from Sebastian. Can you select multiple users and reactivate them if they're inactive? Sebastian, with my favorite feature, again, custom reports. You have this, you can access this feature, and it's great because you can run a report and just select all the people that are now with status inactive. So we just want a list of all inactive users. You update this report, and then through the mass action, you can activate them. I hope it helps.
It does indeed. So thank you so much, Mary. I mean, you've been a trooper. These were so many questions coming through your way. But people, thank you so much for the participation. That was one of our, just most engaging Q&A sessions. So thank you so much for that. And first of all, I would like to thank you so much for staying with us. It was really important having you all together and talking about everything that we are excited to share with you. And of course, the questions just starts. If you're gonna go into your accounts and experience the updates, the features and what's new yourself, feel free to drop us an email at trainingteam@talentlms.com. And if you want, just click on our blog as well. I'm gonna share the link in my follow-up email as well. And there you can see not only everything about our newest updates, but great articles about learning, creating courses, engaging with your users, not only within TalentLMS, but within the ways that you deliver training. It was really good having you here. Again, thank you so much, Mary. And for me, I just want to wish you happy, successful training, and hopefully gonna see you the next time that we have a session together.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for joining.